It's the Daily Beat on KBEY 103.9, hanging out with DailyTrib.com news editor Dakota Morrissiey. And Dakota, how you doing?
Doing great, man.
All right, you've been busy with a lot of news. Y'all been covering a lot of stuff happening here in the Highland Lakes, and one of those things, Burnet CISD recently said they're going to put a bond issue on the ballot.
That's right. This is a big deal for anybody who lives in BCISD. This bond election is for about 135 to 142 or so million dollars, depending on what voters want to approve. It's going to totally redo Burnet Middle School, major upgrades for a couple of the elementary schools. From what we understand, the Burnet Middle School is kind of run down right now, and this is needed. You can learn a lot more about the specifics behind the bond in our Daily Trib story about it. But from what I sound like, this is a long time coming.
Yeah, the middle school used to be the high school up
Yes.
into about 20 years ago. Then they built the new high school, and that turned into the Burnet Middle School. Now it sounds like they're looking to upgrade it and see if they can help the students with their education.
Yeah, it's just part of, the way that schools even do something like this. They have to go out for voter-approved bonds. They don't have enough just money in their pocket to, build an entire new school. So these things depend upon the voters to decide yes or no on them. We just experienced this with MFISD not too long ago. So now Burnet BCISD is doing the same thing. And from what we understand, it shouldn't increase the tax rate. They can kind of pay for it using their current tax rate. So while they would be taking on debt, from what we understand, it wouldn't really have an impact on your actual property taxes unless the value of your property were to go up.
And that'll be on the November ballot?
This will be on the May ballot.
The May ballot,
Yeah,
okay.
so coming up really quick.
All right, so that's going to be here in 3 months. Read more about it at dailytrib.com. All right, let's move to Granite Shoals. They recently terminated their finance director. What was the story behind that, Dakota?
Well, we recently, one of our reporters, Macy Cottingham, learned that the finance director was terminated. You put on leave in December, terminated in January. And after talking to him, he believes it was due to some complaints he had filed about discrepancies with the finances. And then the city actually said they were willing to be investigated. They went to the Burnet County Sheriff's Office and said, hey, investigate us to try and look into these matters that he's bringing up. And right now we're waiting the results of that investigation from the Burnet County Sheriff's Office. But as it stands, we have sort of the finance director saying he thinks it was because of him bringing some things to light, which we don't have all the details on yet. And the city waiting to get sort of like a memo or some kind of the results of this investigation.
Keep updated on that at dailytrib.com, dailytrib.com/subscribe. All right, let's talk concrete and asphalt. And they recently said that they're going to be putting in new parking lots in Burnet and Marble Falls.
That's right. I mean, two totally unrelated things, but it's just funny to have two new downtown parking lots
At the same time?
At the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but I've tried going to downtown Marble Falls during a market days or something, and you got to park down by the library and walk back into town or down at the park. So they're adding about 60 new spots down by the skate park.
Okay.
Which I know isn't quite downtown, but it'll help,
Close enough.
It's close enough that you'll be able to go to the park or go into downtown and get around. And then there's another parking lot going in. Near downtown Burnet. I don't know if you know where Commercial National Bank is. That new parking lot's going to be right there. And it'll definitely add on. You got Jackson Street Jams coming up, Bluebonnet Festival, all this crazy stuff, and this will help alleviate some of that parking pressure.
All right, read about parking lots, dailytrib.com. And it's February. Even though it's February, it feels like spring outside.
Yeah, Pawnee the donkey.
Pawnee the donkey was right with an early spring. And speaking of spring sports with softball and baseball. Well, softball is underway. And I know Marble Falls Lady Mustangs as well as the Lady Bulldogs, they've been hard at it.
Yeah, it's like you said, suddenly sports are here again, and we have the Lady Stangs. They have a new softball field they're playing on. They had their first game on Monday. They're now, into their season. Same thing with the Lady Dogs. And we do season previews for both teams. We also have a season preview for the Faith Academy baseball team if you want to check that out. So if you want to see the players, their numbers, a little sneak peek at how the coach thinks things are going, you can see all that at Daily Trib.
All right, Caden Sin doing the work on that, right?
We got Caden doing the Dogs. We got Macy doing the Mustangs and the Flames. So we have we're going into sports. We want to feature our young athletes.
I think they're going to teach you more on sports as well with all this, aren't they, Dakota?
I'm helpless when it comes to that, man.
Well, good thing we got Macy and Kate to keep us covered on the sports. All right, so read all about it, dailytrib.com, dailytrib.com/subscribe. All right, Dakota, have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, Ben.
That's the Daily Beat on KBEY 103.9.